Charlie Kao with Travel Mall. Very happy to be with Zina Bencheikh, the Managing Director of EMEA, Europe, Middle East, Africa at Intrepid Group. Great to see you.
Hi. Good to see you too. It's been a while.
I was trying to remember how many passengers a year Intrepid carries or have carried for the past 30 plus years that it's been in business. And you told me it's 450,000 a year. So that's millions. And the reason I was looking for that number is that I know a lot of your customers, these millions and millions of past, are repeat travelers, and their family and children also become customers as the generations move on. What kind of feedback have you been getting from this customer base, past travelers, as well as new prospects, as far as what they're looking for in the new safe travel type of environment?
Wow, that's a big question. So let's talk about the feedback and how we've been dealing with our customers from the beginning of the crisis, because they've been different stages. We went from a situation where, you know, we had to suspend all our trips on the 16th of March, and we had 3,500 customers on the ground that we needed to repatriate, which was for us in the history of Intrepid the largest repatriation effort we've ever had to deal with. So we've been through the Arab Spring in Egypt and other places. We've had the bomb attack in Sri Lanka, but something like this has really never happened before. And we've been extremely successful and thankful to the DMC network that we have all around the world, and our office operational staff on the ground to help us to do this repatriation in a really good manner and fast. And the feedback we got from that, really to start with, is that we've been really recognized as a great company to travel with, because we keep safety as the first really matter for us, and that was really the first thing and the most important thing that we focused on when we started, when we entered that crisis. I guess the next stage was around dealing with customer canceling and issuing credits to those, you know, who have had their trips suspended from the 16th of March until end of September, because we've suspended all our activities until then. And that was a bit of challenge, because we had a very large number of customers on file that we needed to contact, and the workforce was much lower. We reduced our workforce as well. Unfortunately, due to all of this, we couldn't, deal with all of these refunds and all of these requests as fast as we thought. And but hopefully, with time, we really managed to get on the top of the backlog. And to date, we actually have refunded 10% of our customers, and 90% have accepted to keep credit and travel with us again, which shows that we really have a great community of customers and really engaged for the future. So in terms of what they are looking to do next, a lot of them are just postponing the trip that they had booked originally to next year. While we also see a big interest for bucket list type of product, and we have customers who now are considering, doing things that maybe they haven't considered before, like going to Antarctica or the Galapagos, which, as I said, more type of bucket list type of trips, as well as a lot of outdoor and active trips. So there are a lot of interest for Inca trails, for the Inca trail, trips we had in Peru, treks, and yet more active and outdoor type of product. So this is really the feeling at the moment and what we see in our bookings and rebookings for next year.
And how will your tours look like when they restart? What will be the differences?
So the first thing, as I mentioned, safety is really the most important thing we consider as a business, and especially in this situation. So we suspended our trip until the end of September. So we have time to review the existing portfolio of trips and make sure that we can, when we start to operate again, we start to operate in the most safest way possible for our customers, which means we've been risk assessing each trip one by one. We've developed a new health and safety guidelines that has been endorsed by the WTTC, which we are following for pretty much every single trip, every single element of the trip, from the accommodation to the transport we use to the group size, to make sure that everything has been looked after before we operate again. So this is where we're at. We do actually have found through a wide survey that we run globally that the safety is the major concern for people moving forward, and for our customers is no different. So we need to really reassure them that when we start operating, it will be done in a safe manner. And this is really the focus that we have at the moment before reopening operations.
Have to stand within 3 feet, 4 feet, you know, not 6 feet, 2 meters from the guide to hear the guide. And I was thinking, I wonder what they're going to do about that. You know, they're going to have remote earphones or phones.
It's a good question, but our trips are led by tour leaders who really are here first to look after the logistic and, you know, to take our customers safely throughout their journey on the destination. And often on Intrepid trips, when you hear about, you know, the history of a place or the story of an area or whatever, not necessarily happen the more traditional way as you think, with, you know, the headset and following the guide with the flag. This is not really what we try to do. So it often happens around the lunchtime or dinner, or when we are in the lobby of a hotel, or so it's different. I think one thing that is important is obviously social distancing, as other matter will be important for our leaders to be trained on. And this is part of the risk assessment that was mentioning earlier, is that we are now we've developed a new training module for our tour leaders, so they know, you know, what are the measures that they need to take into consideration, how, you know, anything around sanitation, around checking the accommodation, checking the restaurants we go, and all of these things. So they are prepared to run the trips and following these rules, so we can really minimize and eradicate, if we can, the risk of contagion during a trip. So
I wanted to interject something here. You mentioned the expression about the evacuation. You have DMCs. To explain to those who are not familiar with Intrepid Group, the DMC, Destination Management Companies, the local tour handling company, and Intrepid Group has divisions of these companies, sister companies. And to mention that your so-called groups are mini groups.
yes, for sure. So the DMC, so Destination Management Companies, it's one of the things that make us, I think, unique in the industry, because when we started operating trips for 31 years ago, and if I'm not mistaken, I think around 15 years ago, we opened our first destination management company. It was in Vietnam back at that time. And we've done it because we wanted to have this close local presence to make sure that the safety of our customers is looked after 24 hours, 7 days, as well as be able to create truly immersive local experiences in the destination where we operate. And we found that the only way to do it properly is to actually have this local presence. So where I'm from, in Marrakesh, is actually where I am today, is the DMC that we have in Marrakesh that's been operating for 12 years, all our Morocco trips. So what we do really in a DMC is, design the trips along with our product team in headquarters, operate them with book hotels, train our tour leaders, and then look after the safety and every single aspect of the safety of a tour if something go wrong, and all of these things. So this is for the DMC. What was the second part of your question?
Oh, no, I just want to point out to the audience that the we keep using, or I do, groups. They're small.
Yes, actually, yeah. So we actually always been operating small group adventures. So the maximum group size on some trips is 16 and others is 12. So average is around 9 to 10 depending. So it's actually relatively small. And the reason originally that we started to do this is just because we found that it was the best way to create immersive experience and be able to stay in locally owned small places, in homestay, in small restaurants, and also to reduce our environmental footprint. It's very different to travel in a group of 40 than a group of 10 or 9. So definitely something that we will keep doing moving forward, especially in the current environment. Yeah.
Tell us about your new products closer to home, please.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess one of the things is, when we've been through the crisis and, we finished with the evacuation, We dealt with customer refunds. We did enter a phase that we called hibernation, reimagination of Intrepid. And during that phase, we wanted to look at the part of our strategy that we wanted maybe to fast track now because there was an opportunity to do it and review the business. And so we've always wanted to enter the domestic market. We've got a global presence thanks to our DMC network of 25 different entities all over the world. And we've always thought we should be leveraging that and start to create local product for local people. Now that we are in this crisis, and it's been clear from the beginning of it that domestic travel will be the first part to come back, we thought that there was an opportunity for us to fast track. So what we decided to do really is to create a range of products in Australia, in our major markets, Australia, UK, Europe, and North America, that talks to the UK, Australian, North American, European customers, within their own countries or region. And so it's called Intrepid Local. And part of it, we actually create the brand new theme, which is the Intrepid Retreat. So the way we design these trips, we also took into consideration how people will want to travel in a COVID environment or post-COVID environment. And we thought that because the safety aspect is really important, having a trip that's in only one place and not multi-day and multi-places as we normally would do, on a small group size, so the maximum is 12, means the average is around 9, and that is centered based, so we can reach ourselves, by a car or public transport, or we don't need to actually share transport altogether to reach that place most of the cases. So this is really the concept, and what we wanted to do really is to create trips that are Intrepid trips. And what are Intrepid trips? Trips that are led by a local leader, where we stay in a locally owned place, where we experience local food, and we really immerse ourselves in the local community. So all of these trips have this in common, because we wanted to be also, authentic to our brand and to our customers in how they can experience Intrepid trips, but closer to home, basically.
Wow, that's so roughly how many itineraries will there be for North America, UK versus Australia, roughly?
Roughly, I can tell you that in the UK, Europe, we developed 12 itineraries. I don't want to say, I think that Australia, it's above 20, because in Australia, we actually had a long-term presence. We did operate trips in Australia already for people coming internationally. So we really just kind of reviewed these trips and adapted them and created new ones. So we have a much larger range, and also our market presence in Australia is much bigger as an Australian company. So I guess, I don't know exactly the number. I can tell you for my region, it's 12. And we've got 5 trips that are in the UK, and the rest are in Europe, mostly, with a trip in Morocco and a trip in Jordan and a trip in Turkey, because these destinations are very close to the Europe market as well. So in a way, we could also see in the near future people, and with borders reopening, people from Europe or the UK, or even from Morocco, joining this type of trips that are a bit more closer to home than maybe Vietnam or Thailand would be in that period of time.
I think that's great. That's
thank you.
Innovative. And when do these trips begin?
So we've got the first departure at the end of July, beginning of August. So when we've launched them, we knew that there was changes coming with the European and the UK regulations in terms of different FCO advices, and so we didn't want to plan them too early. So we planned them around where we thought borders will reopen. So we'll have the first departures toward the end of July.
Why is it important for tourism in its rebound to be more sustainable than ever?
Well, as you just said, I think it's always been important. I think maybe this crisis has shown us the importance, but it would be a lie to say that it's just starting now. It's been many years that we are actually fighting for customers and the industry to realize the importance to save to keep our planet healthy if we want to be able to have an industry at all. So there is no tourism industry if there is no healthy planet. So for us, COVID has at least showed something positive, which is this, if there is anything positive about it. And we are hoping that the whole industry will come on board when they rebound, and they rebound more sustainably, in a way that they care about the environment when they design the tours, they care about the animal welfare, and you know, look after their supply chain and the decision they make when they contract the different suppliers, and you know, all of these things that, you know, we always knew and felt that were important and talk to our customers. And now we feel that it might talk to more customers moving forward, which is putting us in a maybe good or better position, but hopefully because we all need the same planet to be healthy, we hope that the whole industry will come to the party and we'll be looking into this, the sustainability of their products and their business for the rebound.
I know one of the areas at Intrepid, and you personally, as part of some of your work, been very involved in women's equality in tourism. And with so many tourism jobs, millions and millions going away, or have gone away and will go away, I was wondering, and I think a good guess would be that when there's a rebound, who are they going to hire back first, the women or the men? And I said, well, I guess, you know, the women are paid less, probably, like all other industries, so they will cost less. What do you see as the impact to women in tourism, the ones that were in it and the ones that want to get into it as a result of COVID-19?
You know, unfortunately, statistics of the UNWTO have shown that women has been much badly impacted than men because, as you mentioned, women are paid less, but also often in the tourism industry and a lot in the destinations that are occupying unpaid job or low paid job or non-declared job most of the time. So they are the easiest one to get rid of. So the reality is that the statistics said it all. Women have been impacted more badly from, you know, from that perspective because of that crisis than men. And one of my biggest worry, and I share that worry with other people I know and other organizations, is that because of the, you know, the wide impact of this crisis, we are forgetting a little bit about the importance of women empowerment in tourism and using tourism as a force for good to empower women. We know that empowering women with tourism is supporting countries' development, villages' development, and we've worked hard for the past few years to show that, and we started to get momentum, and I just hope that this whole crisis is not going to make us going backwards. And I think that we could rebound stronger if we put women in the center of that, because we know the impact of women working in this industry could have for the development, economic development of countries.
Now, Intrepid Group in the past few years had undertaken an internal program to ensure that women are empowered and that there's a good ratio of them within the global organization. What has been the achievements over these past 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I guess we've always been extremely committed to gender equality in our business. When in 2017, we've been certified B Corp and the largest travel B Corp. And part of the certification process was reviewing our internal processes of, you know, how we recruit and how many, you know, what's the gender gap, you know, in our business, how many, you know, female we have in our leadership teams and all of these things. So we've been certified, but it's also given us a framework to improve ourselves and in that specific topic. So back in 2017, we actually did launch our gender goal, and one of the main one, at least the one I've been really involved with, was to double the number of female guides that we had in our business. And back at that time, I think it was around 1,800 tour guide that we had contracted, and we had a massive gap in terms of especially in countries that a bit challenging from a cultural perspective, like Morocco, like India, like Cambodia, Egypt, Jordan. These countries, it's really a male-dominated job to be a tour leader. So our goal was to double by 2020. And before the end of 2020, we actually reached that goal. And that was one of our biggest achievements as a business. However, we didn't want to stop there. And in the middle of the pandemic, or the beginning of the pandemic in March, on the International Women's Day, we did announce what would be our next goal for the next 2 to 3 years. So we didn't, you know, give up on you know, improving the status quo and what we want to be as a business. And we were going to look into ways to improve the gender equality in our supply chain. And we've got a very, very large supply chain. And it's hard because it's not people we contract. As leaders, we don't have the same relationship with the leader that we have with the hotel, and how to impact a hotel we contract. It was one of the main goal is how we're going to improve gender equality in the supply chain, as well as how we can improve gender equality with the porters. And we know as leaders, porters around the world are mostly a job done by men. So we will keep working hard to improve the gender gap in our business, and hopefully have a positive impact on the industry, given the large scale that we're working on. So it's definitely an important point for us and for me personally.
Intrepid's messaging out there to the world and is that tourism needs to be sustainable. Has women's empowerment and equality in tourism been part of that messaging?
Yes, of course. Always, yeah. As I said, it's one of our core pillar. And I mean, as we declared the climate emergency, we declared that we actually declared in 2014 that we will stop riding elephant. We also declared that we stand for women's rights, and we are signatory of the can't remember the UN
Millennium Development Goals. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I forgot about that one. And it's embedded in our business, and we also have stand for the Black Lives Movement, and not just by putting a black square on our social media, but also talking about what are the next steps for us and action we want to put in place. So we do stand for the things we believe talk to our company values and brand values, because we know these talk to our customers as well. And there is no place for staying in the middle, really. It's for us important because we know
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So you're affecting, that messaging is affecting not only 500,000 travelers on Intrepid trips per year, but the millions of past travelers who are on your mailing list and receive your newsletters and such. Excellent. Obviously, sustainability is in Intrepid's DNA, internally from top to bottom, as you've been talking about. And it manages to be profitable, so it's a sustainable business. Any thoughts on how other businesses who want to become more sustainable, what are some of the baby steps that they can take if they were not ingrained with sustainability in their DNA?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we need, as a business, you need to look at internally to your business and externally in terms of your product and also how you communicate about what you do. Internally as a business, review what you do and review the different practices. And then we talk about gender, how you recruit, your internal processes and how you deal with animal welfare and anything really that touch your business. I think externally, from a product perspective, when you develop products as a travel company, you can start by looking at your supply chain. Who are you contracting, and why and how? And are you looking into if these businesses that you're contracting have good practices in terms of equality, good practices in terms of environment, who they are they locally owned or not? What type of businesses are there? Are you contracting businesses that are from a minority group maybe, or all of these things? I think in terms of the environment, look at your carbon footprint and how can we reduce? And any part of the industry needs to ask the question based on how they operate and look at ways to reduce the emission. There's so many different aspects of sustainability, but each of them needs to be taken and question ourselves, are we doing the right thing? And there's so many different now. I mean, sustainability is not anymore a known topic. There's so many available documentation, information, and that are accessible for businesses to really review their own practices. And what we do, and we've always believed, is that our stand for sustainability and our position is what helped us to grow. and is what helped us to be a profitable company. And we've recorded 4 years of record, growth and profits the last 4 years, and we know it's because of that, and it's thanks to that. So moving forward, we will not stop, we will do more. So I'm a bit sad when I hear on different platforms and conferences that companies are now thinking, well, sustainability has a cost. In a COVID environment, we can't spend money. Well, maybe that's
just about to raise that point, because it happened after the 2008 economic downturn. Sustainability, the whole thinking and discussion around it was rising up to 2008, and boom, economic survival time, sustainability was at the bottom of priorities, and I hope that doesn't happen again with the COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, if we follow the survey and we follow and we, what we've heard from customers, businesses, if they want to have customers, they'll have to adapt, because, this is where people will want to buy more sustainably than ever post-COVID. And we strongly think that this will happen. So
that's a big difference. That was not there in 2008. The consumers were not demanding it, asking for it. Now they are. Yeah. Great to catch up with you. Thank you, and talk to you soon.
Thank you for the chat, and thanks for having me today.